Hello everyone, welcome to another Alpha Console tutorial. In this video we're going to be going over how to import custom cars into a 3D software, export them and then import them into UDK and then finally have them in the game. So I learnt my mistake from the custom charms video. I made that a bit too long with a long-winded process at the beginning of the video. So for this video I'm going to give you the basics. I'm going to give you a template file for you guys to use along with this tutorial, and also I'm going to give you a socket list. That'll make sense later on. The very first thing you guys will need to do, if you haven't done so already, is to install, well, the first thing is to install any 3D software. I'm going to be using Blender. You can use whatever you want. However, if you don't know how to do something that I'm doing in this video for your software, you will need to go and look it up. So I'm using Blender. The next thing you'll need to do is download and install UDK. I will link Simple Shark's tutorial. Actually, I will link his whole playlist, his whole UDK playlist in the description. He goes over how to install and then use UDK. So definitely check out his first video of installing and setting it up. And then if you want to learn more about UDK, you can keep watching his video. Once you have got those installed, the next thing you'll need to do is go into the Alpha Console Discord server. Once you are in there, head over to how to, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a new one of these in here for custom cars. So we've got one for creating charms. I'm going to make one for custom cars. In here will be the link to this video. I will also include a link. I'll include a file for the Octane, which this whole series is going to be based on, or not series, this whole video is going to be based on. So I'll link a 3D object for the Octane for you to use, and I will also include a socket list for the Octane. So the first thing we want to do is we want to import whatever object we're going to use. For this video, we will keep it simple and we'll use an object that comes with Blender. So I'm going to go add, mesh, and where is Suzanne? Monkey. Here's our monkey. There's no extra settings in here, so we don't need to worry about that. So we're going to keep that here for the moment, and we're going to come back to that in a second. The next thing is we're going to right click and new collection, and we want to make this collection our folder which we're going to import to. So we click this box icon. So as I click off, you can see this box has a small outline. That means this collection is now our main point. So we're going to go File, Import, and we want PSK, Skeletal Mesh. Now I don't think this comes standard with Blender, so you can either go into Edit Preferences, Add-ons, and look for PSK. I think this is a download add-on. So if it's here on yours, you can then just select the box and you're good. If not, type in Google, Blender PSK add-on, and then install it from there. And there's a reason why we have to use PSK, is because the OBJ files, definitely the OBJ files and maybe FBX files, don't contain the information we want. So we're going to import skeletal mesh, and what we're going to do is find whereabouts you have installed or downloaded these ESKs to. I have Octane. No, I don't. It's not there. It's in Decryptor. Textures. Octane. It has to be skeletal mesh. Can't be static. This is a big difference. Do not use a static mesh. You want skeletal. Skeletal PSK. So as you can see, let's just hide this. So we have the car, but the main thing we select has these lines on it. These are all the bone structures, which we'll come on to later. The main thing we want to focus on is now lining up the orientation of our object we imported to the object of the car. So I want to rotate this by 90. I want to scale it down. Come onto a side view, scale it down even more. The reason we do this is because, or the reason I do it this way, is if you're importing an actual car, you would want to find a car in Rocket League that matches up to your car. That way the hitbox will be a lot better. Because in Alpha Console, you will be assigning it the same way you do a decal, you'll be assigning it to a car. You'll be using a car's body ID. So let's do something like this. I think this is good enough for now. Actually, move it here, something like that. So this is what we have. We come over to your Octane and select this drop down. You'll see we have a bunch more stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is hide the car. So this is the Octane. So if I select this, you can see it outlines the Octane. We don't really need this, so we're going to click the eye and hide it. Now let's just run a test like this. So when you're exporting, you want to select your object, hold down Shift, and come down to this last bone group and click that. So you select your object first, hold down Shift and select this one. So it selects everything, and your Octane body is not selected. From there, we're going to file export as FBX. And what we're going to do is we are going to call this monkey. So I have monkey.fbx. Now I have a preset here for UDK, which I've gone over in my charms video. This is also included in Simple Shark's video, but I'm going to give you a very quick rundown here. So everything in these panels here is what you want to copy. So when you select through these, you can only select one at a time. You can't click and drag. So what you want to do is hold down Shift to select multiple. So other, hold down Shift, click mesh, and then click armature. So you want selected objects only, so it won't export your whole scene. Selected objects only, armature mesh, other, and then custom properties. These are your transform settings. Now if we go into geometry, this is what you want. Armature, this is what you want, and we're not using baked animation, so this can be unticked. So with all that done, we're going to click export. Once we've done that, we're going to launch UDK. You don't need to worry about this. And now that we are loaded, you want to click new map and then blank map. We'll let that load up for a second. Once it's loaded, it should just be a black background like that. We can click close. And the very first thing we're going to do is File, Save As. This will be in your default directory. Wherever you set this, this will be set up in when you set up UDK. So we're going to file type all files, and what we're going to do is we already have one called monkey, so let's call this YouTube. And then very importantly, you have to do .upk. So this is my name, and then you must include the file type here. Otherwise it will save as a UDK file, which is not what we want. So I'm going to click save. Once this is saved, this will flash. There we go. So this is now refreshed, and we can scroll down, and here is our YouTube save file. And click import, desktop, or wherever you saved your monkey FBX file to. So I'm going to select it, click open. As it's importing, what you want to do, this is just what I do. We're using a skeletal mesh, so _SK, and this is important. So you can see here the import type is static mesh. This is not what we want. We want skeletal mesh. If we select it, if we click the drop down and select it, it won't work properly. It will throw up some errors. So this is the first thing you want to check. Static mesh. As it shows static mesh, we need to convert our monkey into a skeletal mesh. So we're going to cancel that off. We're going to come into Blender. We're going to click on our monkey. We're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to come over to vertex groups, click a new one, double click in here, and chassis _JNT. We'll click enter. So what we'll do, if we, with chassis selected, if we click select, nothing lights up. So we need to assign everything on our monkey or on our file to this chassis. So I'm going to press A and then assign, and to make sure it works, I click off and then select, and obviously everything lights up. So that'll be good. Bring the tab back out into object mode. So we have our chassis done. The next thing we want to do is come into our modifiers and add an armature, and we're going to click in here and add our octane. With those two things done, we're going to select our body or our object, hold down shift, and then select the last octane bone. Now we can export again. Now what should happen is this side panel should keep all your settings. I can tell because it's only the 3 object types that we're using. It's still saved our name, so I'm just going to click export. Once that's done, we're going to come back into UDK, import, and we're going to find our car. It would help if I could spell LMN, monkey. Open, and here it is now, skeletal mesh. So _SK for skeletal, and I'm going to click OK. And here is our monkey. So we double click on this, open up our viewer, and before we save again, there's a few very important steps we need to take. The first thing, as we scroll down on this properties panel, we'll scroll down to yaw. As you can see, that's set to -90. You want to set that to 0. Now, in UDK, there is an option to add whatever whatever is selected in the content browser, so this is the content browser here, whatever is selected, you can add it to a material slot, an object slot, whatever. The way you know if you have something selected is you have a yellow border around it, like that. So with our monkey selected, we're going to come into Kismet up the top, hold down the letter O on your keyboard, and then click randomly. And then we're going to object value, click this green arrow, and that is our monkey. So we can now close that. And what we're going to do is click our save floppy disk icon. Only use this icon. Don't use anything else. Only use this icon. So we're going to click save. Now, so we've gone from Blender into UDK. Now we're going to go from UDK into the game. So let's go C drive. This folder we're going to go into UDK. Custom UDK content maps and monkey. We're going to copy that, and with this window we're going to go into Rocket League. So I'm going to go into Epic Games, into our cooked PC folder, into mods, AC plugin, custom cars. As you can see, I already have a monkey here, but we're going to override that. Yes. So we've now got our UPK file in our AC plugin mods folder. Now we're going to open up another window and we're going to go into the actual AC plugin texture folders that we use for our decals. So AC plugin, antennas, balls, banners, blah blah blah. We're going to come down to custom cars. And I have one, I believe it's in here. Yes, so what you'll do is there'll be one that comes with Alpha Console, I believe. It's been a while. If not, what you can do is, do I have a basic one? You can use this. So you just have a JSON file. This is your setup. Obviously mine, the one I'm going to use now, has multiple instances inside this JSON file, so it's not a single one. But you get the idea. So I'm going to test cars and monkey. So again, with JSON files, this is what shows up in Alpha Console. The mesh path we've gone over in the charms video, but it is the file name monkey. So if I go to maps or custom cars, it's the file name, so monkey, and then it is the skeletal mesh name. So we go to UDK, here's your skeletal mesh, here's the name of it, it's monkey_sk. So monkey dot monkey_sk. File name dot skeletal mesh name. As we are using the Octane, we're going to have the ID of 23. And for this, I'm just going to give us some wheels. So our wheel scale is set to 1. And then I'm going to open up Rocket League. So once we're in Rocket League, we're going to press F5. We can come up to our search bar, type in cars, and we're going to click on monkey. Obviously it won't show up because we have the breakout, so I'm going to come down to our Octane. And it is still using our original. This texture won't happen. This texture won't happen. This is the practice one we have overridden. So I've made this one before, user material in game, but for some reason it's still being used as a file. So there we go, that's better. So here's our monkey. And you see the structure of the monkey is quite low poly. There is a poly limit inside of UDK. I believe it's 60,000. Let me see if I can find it quickly and I will show you. Where do I put it? Okay. Explanation here. So the limit is, where is it? Due to a 65,000 vertex limit. So a way to know if you have reached that amount is inside Blender. Click on this drop down and there should be statistics, whatever I just said. And this gives you the options or the displays here. So from here, what we can do is assign it materials. These materials are in-game materials. And one of them is we can use the paint, the garage paint finishes, the paint colors, or we can just assign it a static texture and bake it that way. So I'm not going to go over this in depth. I'm going to give you 2 examples and you guys can go from there. I have a bunch of videos on this channel that talk about how to make skin textures, how to make curvature packs, everything you need to make your own in-game car, quote unquote. So you can use those videos and then import everything here into UDK. But I'm going to give you 2 examples. Okay. So, dummy assets. You're going to come over to dummy assets, click this down, and what you want is body underscore muscle car. Muscle. Body underscore muscle car. And in here, you're looking for body muscle car MIC. What we do is right click on that, create new material instance constant. And so the name is what you're going to see in your UDK package. So you can have this as car underscore I don't know, MIC materials. The package that you want, this is where it goes. This we want in our YouTube package. This is what we just created. So I'm going to click OK. Grouping doesn't matter. So we're just going to click OK to that. And wait for it to load. So if I close that down, if I come down to YouTube, again, here's our package that we made. And we now have our car material inside it. So here is everything you need. You have your skin, you have your diffuse, you have your curvature pack. As I said, I have videos for curvature packs. I have videos for making skins, making paintable making paintable cars. You can watch these and import the textures in here. One very important thing to remember: this is using a default preset of an in-game material. So muscle car is Dominus. If you apply this texture to your car without changing any of these, without overriding them, it will use the default Dominus materials. You'll need to import everything here and then override them in here. So import all your textures into the content browser, override them inside of your material. Then you can attach your material to your object. So again, we have selected our material. You know it's selected by the yellow outline. And we can just do that. Click the green arrow and it is now attached to our monkey. The other thing we can do is, let me find the name of this. It was texture 2 text. So engine, come into your engine folder and then in content, and you can type in texture paint, and this is what you would want to use. So again, we right click, create new material instance constant. And then our package is going to be YouTube, and our name is, let's just call this image. So what this can do is literally give you a static image. By that I mean you don't need to use the in-game parameters, diffuse, skin, curvature pack. You can literally just import your texture into UDK, assign it to the diffuse, and what I'll do is I'll show you that now actually. Go. I'm going to open up our material, select our new texture, and then add that to the diffuse. There we go, that's better, look at that. So now as you can see, our monkey is wearing that. So let's save this. I'm going to copy and replace our YouTube files and open up Rocket League. And here is our monkey with our texture on it. Obviously it doesn't look very pretty because we haven't mapped our texture to the UV of the monkey. So it's literally just using a flat image. So from here, what we can do is I'm going to show you how to play around with the wheel locations. So let's do that really quickly. So we come back into Blender, and as you remember, we set up our monkey facing the front of the Octane, so these are the front wheels. If we hide our monkey and show the Octane again, you get a better visual. The best way I've found is all of these lines here are individual joint points. This isn't one long joint, there are multiple things here. There's a wheel, there's an axle, suspension, all of these attached to a certain point where the game will know what to do. So the best thing I've found is you select your main object, your main Octane object, which is these, press tab, and you can see them. So each, so you have an orange start, an orange finish, ball, and then in between those is just a random line. You want to, the best way I found is to move each group individually. So front is one group, back is one group. So you center them on a point where you want the wheels, and then you can adjust the width. For example, now we're in edit mode. I want all of these front bones. I'm going to come into a side view. I'm going to show the monkey. And what I want to do is bring these wheels, front wheels, closer to the monkey. So with them all selected, I can move them down closer, somewhere about here. And from then, what we want is I want to bring them closer together on the width. So I'm going to do a top-down view, select this side. As we no longer need the Octane body, I can hide this and move them to about here. So we have our center line, one line, and we're on the second grey line. So I'm going to do the same for this side. One, two, here. So as you can see, this right side is obviously a lot further out, or this left side I should say, but looking at it here, this top side is a lot further out from the midpoint than this bottom side. That doesn't matter. All you need to do is to move your whole bone structure to a point where you need it. Doesn't matter about width, about how far it goes, because obviously the point at where the wheels will touch, or where the wheels are set in game, are the same, but just different inside of whatever software, i.e. Blender. So again, what we're going to do is do the same for the back. So I'm going to select this whole back, and I'm going to bring this a lot closer. I'm not going to adjust the width, I'm just going to adjust the wheel position. So I'm going to tab back into object mode. I didn't want that one. On our object, shift down to the bone structure, export as FBX. We still have our custom properties, export, open up UDK, and re-import skeletal mesh. So now that's done, I can save into our UDK file, copy, paste, open up Rocket League. So as this loads up, you can see our wheels are now a lot closer to the monkey, and these front wheels are a lot closer together. So if we can now go into training, obviously we'll still see this. And as you can see, our Octane hitbox is still in effect, as the ball is being hit long before the monkey actually gets there. So let's do our socket list. So let's start with something simple like a hat. We now have a hat equipped, but it's not showing up. That's because hats, antennas, the boost emitters, not these things, or the, actually I can show you as well. Where's boost? Here's boost. So obviously we've got these flame things and these emitters, not the actual boost itself. The actual boost itself is on a socket. So let's start with a boost and a, what was it, a topper. So a hat and a boost socket. Brackets. And I want Octane sockets. This is what the socket list looks like. All this is very confusing when you first look at it. However, it is very easy. All you're looking for is socket name, the bone name it is joined to, and its location inside of UDK. That's all you need. So let's start, what did I say? Hat. Here is our hat. So we can come into UDK. Now, have a look at this here. all I'm going to be using is everything. I'm going to have this file on my other monitor, but we're going to use its name, what bone it's connected to, and its location. I'm not going to do pitch. Actually, I might do pitch. So we're only using these. And if you want to screenshot this, actually, no, you'll have the download file. The download file for this will be in the Alpha Console how-to channel. So you can work alongside me with this. So let's move that over here. When we're in UDK, you want to double click on your skeletal mesh. Excuse me a second. You have this page open. You get this page open by clicking on your skeletal mesh, and you want to come into this arrow with a red icon. This is the socket manager. So we click on this, and I'm going to click new socket. Here is the bone name, and it's the chassis joint. You will have all of these if you export your object correctly, how I've shown you previously in this video. So we're going to have it on its chassis, and the socket name, obviously we're doing the hat or the toppers, so it's going to be hat socket, and you want to type these exactly how they are in the socket list. So now we have this ball, this point inside of UDK. The locations that it gives you in this list, these are the locations for the Octane. Now you can type these in so you have a rough idea for your car, but ultimately, again, these are for the Octane. So what I'm going to do is just move this up so it's roughly center-ish of our monkey. About there. Seems good. And as we scroll down, we've done our what did we do? We've done our hat, so now we want our boost. Okay, I have found it. So to get the actual boost is boost. Hang on, let's go back into UDK. Is boost emitter right, and obviously because the Octane has two, you would just do boost emitter right, and then another one called boost emitter left. So that's everything inside of this socket list. Obviously here I have ambient boost mesh. This is an add-on. This is for the update of Alpha Console. So if there's something that doesn't work and you've tried everything in here, add this on, place it in a random location and test, which is what I've done with these. As you can see, I've just boost emitter right in the middle, ambient boost towards the side, and ambient boost is this fire thing down here. So if there is a car with a second ambient boost, you'll do ambient boost mesh underscore 02. And that is how you set up the socket list for your car to work. So let's go into free play quickly. Obviously you just seen it in the garage, but we'll have a look in free play as well. So we have our original dual pulsing fire things at the back. We have added that extra flame thing on the right side only, and we now have our boost trail. We have also added the topper as well, so any hats or toppers that we use, they'll be in that same place that we have set the socket up. So this, when you hold down drive, you have this flame thing at the back. That is the rocket boost socket. So this little fire thing coming out the back, that is the rocket boost socket. So that only happens when you drive. So if I stop holding drive, obviously it disappears. So I don't know how long, well, I know how long I've been recording for, but I don't know how long this recording will be. However, if you guys want a more in-depth tutorial, we can use an actual car model. We can find one online, we can work through it. We can set up its UV mesh, we can set up its materials, and then go, obviously all of that is done in Blender. We can set up its UV and material slots in Blender. We can then go through the slots, material slots in UDK, setting up things for the curvature packs, skins, diffuse. We'll basically do a full run through of a car setup. If you guys want that, let me know down below. That will be a longer video, just so you know. So if you don't want to go out and explore things on your own, you know, I know how much of a pain that is these days. And yeah, we'll do that. Just let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.